Welcome back to the Morning Scramble, everybody. Okay, the 5 mistakes in college planning. Do you know what they are? Well, unfortunately, many of us still make them. And the co-founder for College Prep Mastery, Chip Wittrock, is joining us this morning to not only tell us what they are, but how we can avoid making these mistakes. Okay, we're doing a series right now, and today we're going to talk about mistake number 4. But for the viewers at home, let's kind of review a little bit. Starting with mistake number 1 in planning for college. All right, no guidance in picking a course study.
That's the number one issue that we come across. Guidance counselors at schools are overwhelmed, overworked, underfunded. So we have so many kids just going to school for general education. It's the number one declared major. And they're just taking classes that most times aren't even contributing to their major at all.
Okay, so they need to find their passion, basically.
Correct.
Okay, mistake number 2, no accurate college search. My whole family's going to go to Notre Dame, so I'm going to go there.
Either driven by what parents did, or location, or sticker price, which really is not the driving factor. What is it that I'm going to go to school for? And then which college best delivers that career path for the least amount of money in the least amount of time? It may not be the one down the street. It may not be the JC because it's got the lowest sticker price. It may, but it may not be. So identify which college is going to best serve you.
Okay, may be local, may not be. Mistake number 3, preparing for the SATs and the ACTs.
It's been kind of, let to the side as far as how much time and effort they put into it, but it is the only apples to apples comparison that colleges have to make a difference between your student and my student. And you see weekend crash courses at high schools, you see a mom and pop shop on the corner. There are proven programs out there that'll actually guarantee an increase in scores. And it can make the difference between getting grant money and getting into the college of your dreams and not. So put time, effort, and energy into being well prepared for that. It's learning how to take a test is really those entrance exams, not really how much you know the information.
Good to know, good to know. Okay, so today, now here we are with mistake number 4, which is trying to use your high school study skills in college. But now, why is that a mistake?
Well, mistake may be, misinterpreted there a little bit, but it's just a void. People try and take their high school, study skills, which read the text word for word, memorize it and pass an exam. You and I don't get to come to work, take a test, and get a paycheck. When you get into college, you have to know how to be able to understand, evaluate, and apply that information. That's completely different than how to memorize. Everybody thinks high school prepares you for college. It's not true. It makes you eligible to go to school. And right now, on average, 35% of the kids going to college are taking remedial classes. So we can see that there's a real lack of being prepared for college when they get there, and a lot of that comes in study skills.
Well, and plus too, I'm thinking, in high school, okay, so you get assigned maybe, 10, 15 pages a night, but in college, when you have 5 classes in one day, and every single class is assigning you 50 pages to read, and sometimes not even in courses that you're interested in, but they're a core course that you have to take, how do you physically do that?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. My wife worked for Kaplan Education for years and created the accelerated recall technique. And it shows them how to streamline the amount of time that they put into studying those things, and then how to evaluate and analyze the information in a fraction of the time. So actually, if the instructor didn't show up, they'd be prepared well enough to go up there and teach the class. Now you know it well enough to be able to apply that information, pass your exams in the least amount of time.
So again, if I'm a straight A student in high school, then I should be a straight A or a straight A college student. I can't talk. A straight A student in college, right?
We see so many times high academic achievers in high school hit college and they're just overwhelmed. They're high achievers, so they want to take aggressive classes. They always like to have that challenge going on. Well, sometimes when you see a challenge at home in high school, you're there to be able to see the stress level that your student or your child's under, and you can either help them navigate through that or maybe reduce the demand while it's early in the year. In college, they're out there by themselves. So we see kids under a tremendous amount of stress, frustration. By the time you find out that their grades are suffering, you've already paid for the class, now you've got to drop it, they're frustrated, and they just end up dropping. We have so many kids that are dropping.
Well, and what you just said there too, it's here they are, they're frustrated, they're anxious, then the panic attacks are setting in when it comes time to taking the test. The confidence is so lacking. How as a student and as a parent can you help repair something like that?
Well, there's repair by being, closely involved with them, but there's the preparation. It's like everything else. Everybody watches how outstanding an athlete performs on Sundays or in the big games, but they don't get to see all the preparation, and that's kind of the route we come from. When they go to the 5 biggest mistakes, you're going to see that it's being prepared for the SAT, knowing which school, knowing how to study. It's all these things to get that outcome that we as parents really want for our kids. We want them to be happy, we want them to be successful, we don't want them to be overstressed, but we want them to be, rewarded financially as well as educationally.
Well, if I hired a tutor to help me with my classes, is that going to help me with my study skills?
That'll help you with a void in understanding. Typically a tutor will take a look at some segment of a subject that you're not quite catching so you can fill that void and then continue on. But that's really not a study skill. That's an understanding of a missing piece. And study skills is going to be something that you can apply to, every class. Things that you're going to have to study as an adult so you can absorb information, comprehend it, and apply it to make you more appealing and more effective even in the workplace. So it takes it from college all the way through to workplace and into the rest of your life.
Interesting stuff, Chip. And again, I wish you guys were around when I was in school because boy, oh boy, I'm like mistake number 1. So far, I've been 4 for 4 here on the mistakes, and then we will have mistake number 5 in the next couple of days. Thanks for joining us here on the Morning Scramble. And up next, we have Misty May Trainer. Everybody, stay tuned.